Alright people, so welcome to Jumbo IAS and welcome to UPSC Prelims Phoenix batch. In this batch, we revise the entire syllabus for UPSC Prelims examination, both static as well as current affairs. Now you should know this, that the lecture you're watching right now is part of our static series. And if you have already joined Phoenix batch, well, you all know that we are currently going through modern history in our static lecture series. Now in modern history, today is day 5. And today's day 5 topics are early nationalism from revolt of 1857 till the Surat split, and the rise of extremists, okay, moderates and extremists. So these are your topics for today. I hope you have already revised through the notes because the notes were provided to you well in advance. So I hope you have already revised through the notes, and now after revising, you're sitting for this lecture. This is very important because revision from the notes was revision number 1. And this lecture would amount to revision number 2 because we'll revise all these topics, subtopics through a set of 30 MCQs. All right then, without further delay, without further ado, let's straight away dive into the lectures. Let's begin. So modern history day 5, and today's targets were early nationalism, and well, rise of extremism. Okay, so let's begin with question number 1. So regarding the safety valve theory of the Indian National Congress, consider the following statements. It suggests the INC was formed under the guidance of Lord Dufferin to provide a peaceful outlet for Indian discontent. The theory was first mentioned in the biography of A.O. Hume written by William Wedderburn. Modern historical research has confirmed the existence of secret reports that prompted Hume to form Congress. Now there is this conspiracy theory. You see, Indian National Congress was founded or promoted by A.O. Hume, a former British civil servant. Now, generally people believe that A.O. Hume wanted to help Indians, that's why he started Indian National Congress, but there is a conspiracy theory as well. Well, that conspiracy theory is safety valve theory. And what does that safety valve theory says? That, well, the thing is that there was this rising discontent in India, among Indians. So to give an outlet so that the Indians can blow up their steam, well, they created this party where they will discuss, they will criticize the British, no matter how little it is, but they will criticize, they will blow off their steam and then sit back. This is the safety valve theory. Now, the theory says that yes, it was formed under the guidance of Viceroy only. Viceroy, it was Viceroy Lord Dufferin's insistence that Congress was formed. So this is correct. And this theory was first mentioned by a person called William Wedderburn, who wrote a biography on A.O. Hume. Yes. Now, many historians dispute this conspiracy theory. And well, modern historical research does not confirm, and there is no upsurgence of any secret reports or anything like that. Okay, so this statement is false. The correct answer would be 1 and 2. Right? Question number 2. Which of the following pairs of pre-Congress organizations and their founders are correctly matched? Now listen to me carefully. Even well before Indian National Congress, there were many attempts made by nationalist Indians to create organizations for Indians, okay, where they can basically put forward their political ideas. Okay, so these are pre-Congress organizations. Then after Indian National Congress, well, it was the biggest organization. Now, what are these pre-Congress organizations? Landholder Society by Dwarkanath Tagore, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha by Dadabhai Naroji, Indian Association Surendranath Banerjee. So Landholder Society was basically a collection or an organization to represent the interests of zamindars, the landholders, okay, to the British. It was started by Dwarkanath Tagore. This was correct. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was not started by Dadabhai Naroji. By the way, Landholder Society was started in 1830 in Calcutta only. Okay. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was not started by Dadabhai Naroji. It was actually started by Chiplunkar, Mahadev Govind Ranade, Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade, and G.V. Joshi. Okay, these people started Pune Sarvajanik Sabha in 1870. Okay, then Indian Association was started by Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose in late 1870s. And then finally, Indian National Congress was formed in 1885. Clear? So this is false, but this is correct. Answer would be 1 and 3 only. Right? Question number 3. With reference to drain of wealth theory, consider the following statements. Now, drain of wealth theory basically revealed how the British were economically exploiting Indians, how the wealth was being drained from India to Britain. Okay. It was scientifically analyzed and popularized by Dada Bhai Naroji in his work Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. It argued that Indian wealth was being transferred to England through salaries, pensions, profits of British companies. The theory led the British government to appoint Welby Commission to investigate the matter. Now, you see, generally, whenever there is colonization of any place, well, those countries talk about political subjugation by the colonial masters. But in India, well, Indians were far-sighted enough to detect that the British are here not just for political exploitation, they are here for economic exploitation and how they are exploiting the Indians. I mean, economically. And this was first mentioned by Poverty and Un-British Rule in India by Dada Bhai Naroji by giving this theory. So this is correct. It said that India's wealth was being taken away, looted through various ways. First of all, salaries and pensions of British servants, profits of British companies, then, financing wars, in return on investments, then export, import, all these things. So, yes, the theory led the British government to appoint Welby Commission. Now, this theory became so popular and the Indians were so angry that the British had to assuage them. The British had to appoint Welby Commission to tell the Indians that we are inquiring into the matter. So this is also correct. All statements are correct. Okay. Next. The Ilbert Bill controversy is a significant turning point in Indian national movement. Why? You see, it was the Ilbert Bill controversy that, well, after this controversy, the Indians were sure that the British are not benevolent towards Indians. There is some racism also. Okay. What did the Ilbert Bill controversy say? Well, there are judges, judicial magistrate. Earlier, before Ilbert Bill, well, if a crime is committed by a European, he will be tried by a European judge only. But Ilbert Bill allowed an Indian judge to adjudicate any crime committed by even Europeans. So an Indian judge can deliver a verdict on a European also. This was a very good step, bringing equality. But there was such opposition by Europeans that the government had to take it back. This basically gave Indians some evidence that the British are ruling us with racism. Okay, so it is a pivotal moment. And that further accentuated the demand for forming these all India organizations like Indian National Congress. So the organized protest by Europeans against the bill hastened the development of organized national movement in India. Now it was absolutely essential to create an organization for Indians to put forward their demands. Okay, this basically showcased colonial racism. All right, next. Which of the following were political demands of the moderates? Now remember, Indian National Congress initially, or let's just say, had two wings later: moderates and extremists. Okay, the initial phase of Indian National Congress was dominated by moderates only. Extremists became popular later. Now, what were the demands of moderates? Abolition of India Council, complete separation from British Empire, expansion and Indianization of legislative councils, appointment of Indian members to Viceroy's Executive Council. Okay, so abolition of India Council was correct. That, India should be governed by Indians. This was there. Complete separation from British Empire was never on the cards for moderates. Moderates liked British Empire. They just wanted some reforms within the British rule. Expansion and Indianization of legislative councils. Now, legislative councils back then were a parliament of sorts. They passed laws. So they demanded more Indians in this. And Viceroy's Executive Council was basically the executive. They wanted Indians in this also. So both these are correct. They wanted these reforms, but they liked the British rule. They pledged loyalty to British rule. Okay, so the answer is 1, 3, 4. All right, next. Consider the following statements about Surendranath Banerjee. He is often referred to as the Indian Burke. He founded the Indian National Conference, a precursor to Indian National Congress, in 1883. His book, A Nation in Making, highlighted the objective of making India a nation. So yes, he is called Indian Burke after Edmund Burke, a British statesman in England. So he was a big politician, big statesman. So he was called Indian Burke, yes. And Even before Indian National Congress, well, he attempted to create an all India political organization called Indian National Conference. This is correct. Later, when Congress was formed, his movement or his organization dissolved into that. He wrote A Nation in the Making to unite the Indian nation. Yes, all three are correct. Okay, next. With reference to Indian Councils Act of 1892, which of the following statements are correct? Legislative councils. Okay, it introduced the principle of indirect election for the first time. It granted legislatures the power to vote on the budget. It accepted the demand for Indian members in the Executive Council. So it did bring a principle of indirect elections, though it was called nomination. Okay. Yes, in the Central Legislative Council, well, Provincial Legislative Council can nominate some members. So this part is correct. But there was no power to vote on budget. Yes, you can discuss it, but not vote. The Legislative Council, in which there were Indian members also, they could discuss but not vote. You can't give power to vote on budget to Indians. Okay, that was the idea. It accepted the demand for Indian members in Executive Council? No. No Indian was there in Viceroy's Executive Council until 1909. So this is also false. The answer would come out to be A. Okay, next.